successfully dodged the question on when you two are going to get together, but I'll ask it again because I know you are all on the same page about this. I mean, do you all feel that it's not a good idea for Sherlock and Holmes to hook up, as it were?
It's just I guess what I've said, I feel like a broken record, so forgive me, but it's just not what we set out to do. It was what we saw was. It was an opportunity to play a new dynamic. Things change when one is a man and one is a woman, and it's something we wanted to take advantage of in the show. But it's just, at the end of the day, it's too easy to turn it into a romance. That's for thank you again. For me, for my money, it's you never say never. Maybe season. Wow.
When ratings fall, tops will come off.
When what?
All I know is we've had great fun. This is the show we set out to make. We couldn't be happier with what we've got to this point, and so I don't really see a compelling reason to mess with it. We want to mess with Sherlock's life and Joan's life in many other different ways, but we don't have to put them together.
Is it more fun for you guys to kind of play the tension than to actually consummate it on camera? I mean, is there more rich material to kind of play that way?
Off camera's old. I'm kidding. He's married. No, I think that I swear because I don't feel the tension in that way sexually. I feel like it's more a chemistry between us that like she's frustrated with him, or he's upset with her, or doesn't want her to be pestering him. Whatever it is, I don't think that for me it doesn't feel like that kind of tension which people sense. It just seems like a real thing that's happening, that's raw, and it's accented with, there's an undercurrent of emotion and care, which is something that in the literature itself, when I started reading it, that really exists. Their partnership extends beyond just the cases. There was a trust, there was a connection that they have, and I think that even with Sherlock's character, with Captain Gregson and with Bell, there's something really wonderful because even though he sort of jokes around and sort of isn't always the most polite, there is something that he obviously respects and cares about, and he cannot really work with people unless he really respects them, and that's something that I think is very clear because he'll just cut you down, and I think that's something that I think that we all kind of get in the scripts daily, even though there's procedural aspect in all the episodics, but we do have something that it ties us all together.
One of the things that I started to explore more when I was doing my research was Sherlock's drug use. It was this really interesting. The way it was used was fascinating to me because it never really dictated story. It was spoken to. It was acknowledged in some of the domestic scenes, I guess, set at the brownstone. And then the case would work itself out, and maybe by the end of the story, he's back on the couch and considering, if he's bored, he'll use cocaine. Really focusing on that and wondering, what is it? The two things that came out of it was I started to fall in love with the idea of a Sherlock in repair. Someone who's typically 10 steps ahead of everyone, lost a few of those steps, and maybe even went behind for a short while. And he's such a proud person. What does that mean? What's it like for that character to be in a state of repair? But it also sort of answered this other problem. Having done a little research on sober companionship, I found out it's not that it's rare, but it's not uncommon to have different genders. That a man could be a sober companion to a woman, or vice versa. And once we sort of locked in on that, we felt like we were being true to what we had seen in the books, and yet it was working. It was working for our vision of the show. It felt to us like it distinguished us from other incarnations. But it's you just sort of go. You find these things as you go. We dive back into the canon constantly, and if we think it can work for us for our version, or if it just needs a slight tweak or a nudge in the right direction, we love, I mean, they're just so rich. We love finding pieces that we can take out and apply to what we do.